the opportunity to walk around and look at some pictures. It really helps document the history here in the Lower East Side. Plus, I was informed, and I don't know if you guys know, he's rotating the slideshow here of pictures, which is also very fascinating. I want to mention something today. We were at City Hall today, and the Landmarks Subcommittee had a vote, and it was a very bad day for me because we voted to not landmark something after the Landmarks Preservation Commission decided and did landmark something. But I just think it shows that we still have a lot more work to do. So thank you everyone for being here.
The fact is that artists make a neighborhood. They make a neighborhood into one that you want to be in. We need to preserve this neighborhood and keep its artistic integrity. We have fought to do that, and we will continue to do that, and this installation is part of that fight. Okay, welcome.
We would like people to be aware of the contribution that artists make to this neighborhood and how important they are. It creates a vital, eclectic feeling in this neighborhood where people are creative and you think and you care. You care about what happens to your neighbors, you care about what happens to your neighborhood, and without people like Crystal, who've been supportive of the arts here, without the libraries who've supported our shows, we need more venues. And we need to realize that artists are working people. They don't just sit. They work really hard, and there are a lot of them that are here tonight that are in the show, that are photographers, painters, illustrators, musicians, performers, the whole range. And we celebrate our neighborhood, and we would like to remain here. That's one of the things that's always made our neighborhood really special. We always pull together because we support one another, because we've lived here, because we like it, and we don't want to have to move. So that's what it's about in terms of preserving our neighborhood, and let's all fight together to do that. Thank you very much.
The idea for LESPI started in 2007, which now seems like, for some reason, a very long time ago. But it started after some of us saw a documentary film called Slumming It, Myth and Culture on the Bowery. This is a phenomenal documentary. If any of you get the opportunity to see it, if you haven't seen it, I truly recommend it. It was sponsored by the Neighborhood Preservation Center, and the film inspired us to do something to preserve what remains of the remarkable history of the East Village and Lower East Side, and the Bowery, the whole area. It's really one integrated whole. And so since that time, we've teamed up with other local groups, such as the Bowery Alliance of Neighbors, East Village Community Coalition, and the Greenwich Village Society for Historic Preservation, to push the Landmarks Commission to designate as historic districts remaining historic streetscapes in the East Village and the Lower East Side. To make sure, really, that development and alterations that are planned in the future are carried out sensitively to respect the neighborhood's architecture and culture. We now encompass community activists, preservationists, preservation architects. I'm a preservation architect myself in New York City. Local artists and other residents who are concerned, distressed, or angry, or all of the above, about what seems to be out of control development in the East Village and Lower East Side. And these are people, including myself, who would like to fight the rampant destruction of the neighborhood's very special architectural and cultural history. The East Village Lower East Side also has a history as a hotbed of cultural activity, from musicians Charlie Parker to Madonna, from artists William de Kooning to Antonio Chico Garcia, and writers W.H. Auden to Leroy Jones. Although the area's experienced a huge loss in historic architecture over the last 2 decades, there's still a lot left. And you can look at the slides and understand what I'm saying. Better yet, of course, stroll around the streets, make a point of looking up, and I'm sure that you would agree just how rich the architecture in the neighborhood can be. The buildings also speak to the challenges faced by many past generations who have lived here up to the present time. to what have been for over so many years, a difficult existence, to put it honestly, that gave rise to the forceful politics, the artistic creativity, and the unique heritage which we're now trying to preserve. If we don't protect this heritage, it's really going to disappear in front of our eyes.
So over the past year, we have actually gone out and walked block by block the entire area that we're currently focusing on looking at, which is the area around Tompkins Square Park, especially to the west of the park. And except for a couple of small areas, we've completed this process in early 2010. Our plan is to record on this map, lot by lot, our survey ratings of each individual building. And this will give us an instant view of the concentrations of highly rated, historically significant buildings in our study area. So once we complete this mapping process, which we're starting to get underway now, we should have a really great body of information about exactly what historic structures remain in the area and where they are. We'll be able to go on to our next important task, which will be to start identifying potential landmark districts.
I've been currently working with LESPI I testified at the Landmarks Commission in March of last year in conjunction with Elizabeth from Greenwich Village Society for Preservation and our council member, Rosie Mendez, for the designation of the Orthodox Church in America site and the church on 11th Street, which was successfully designated. All of you know this area is very rich in cultural history and buildings in which very important people have lived. Now, I still feel that it's very important to make the public know. The public is very interested in places where Charlie Parker lived, or Huddy Ledbetter, or artists like Joan Mitchell.
Welcome everyone, I'm Marie Byrne, and this is Show and Tell time. What is an oral history? LESPI is interested in starting out on an oral history. So what is it and why would we use one? We're going to start with the East Village. And in the East Village we have, in Japan, they have something called a living national treasure. And that's where their artists, craft people, pottery people, doll makers, sword makers are all revered. And just like we landmark a building in New York, they landmark a living treasure in Japan. So this is something that we think we should do, starting with the East Village. Have all of the artists, or their family or their colleagues, and if deceased, representatives of their family or estate, and interview them and find out that mosaic, that rich culture that we have here. So this is our project, and we're not sure yet if it's going to take form in a booklet or a documentary film or both, but this is what we're working on. So thank you all.
I want to encourage everyone to join our effort, join LESPI.